Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. I'm excited as we lean into November and we're leaning into all that the end of the year brings and the holidays and all the changes in weather, all of those different things. And we're looking ahead at the new year. And I think this is such a great time to check in and see how are we continuing to lean into our potential? How are we continuing to discover how we're made, what we're bringing to the world, checking in, not letting the momentum of the year and the seasons run us, but how are we really staying purposeful and present? And one of the areas that can help us become more purposeful, more clearly step into our potential, are challenges, hardships, those things that suddenly change the course we're on. It gives us this moment in time where we're stopped kind of in our tracks. And the pressure's a bit tighter as that challenge, that hardship, that unexpected challenge comes. And I think we can have it be something that we resist and it gets harder and harder and the pressure turned up. And we can use it as an opportunity to uncover things. Sometimes where I have discovered I had more strength than I knew was in some of the hardest times. Sometimes where I've gotten the most clarity and sense of purpose was when I was in a really difficult time and had to make choices. When suddenly the rules changed, life was different. I got to step into life differently and learn things about myself, learn where I started and stopped, learned where to lean for strength. And sometimes in the busyness of life, when everything's going great, we don't always do that. We don't always have to. And so today we have two amazing guests who have gone through incredible challenges and have been able to harness that in a powerful way. And I thought that would be really valuable for us to lean into, learn from. How can we, those challenges, those hard things, how can we harness that for good? How can we become stronger, better, more on purpose, discover more of our potential? How can we do that? And I don't know where each of you are today in the journey. Maybe right now it's a great, great time. Things are flowing beautifully. I celebrate that with you. Perhaps you're having a challenging time, a harder time. Thank you for joining us today so we can lean in and support you in that. But what I do know is at some point we have gone through hard, challenging times that stop us in our tracks, or we will at some point. And the more we can add to our toolbox to support us and empower us in those times, the more we can stay on purpose and potential and harness it for good. So thank you for being here today. I know you're going to get great value out of our conversation and the resources and the insight that are going to be made available today. In order to get the most out of our time together, I want to invite you to choose to be present. Not just here, kind of half listening, but slow down. Take a breath. All the way to your toes. Be present. When we slow down, we take that breath. It helps lower our cortisol levels. It helps us become open, more present. It brings oxygen to every cell in our body. It creates room and space to receive. I invite you to open your heart to receive, your ears to hear, your spirit to listen, so that you can receive and gain and hear everything that is here for you today. Either something perhaps I share or one of our amazing guests shares, or just the space we create together with you joining in, something bubbles up within you that is going to help you move forward. So be open to receiving that, listening. In fact, I invite you to put both hands on your heart. Close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Take a breath. In through the nose. Out through the mouth, like through a straw. And as you're breathing and feeling that heartbeat, notice that and notice the pause in between the heartbeats. And as you connect into your heart, what is it that you need today? Beat by beat, that your heart is sharing with you. What do you need today to encourage you, to support you, and empower you? We're not asking how, we're asking what. Wonderful. Let's just receive that information, that reminder, that focus. Let's take a breath. Come back into the room, eyes open, fully present. Take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart that you need and are willing to receive. See if that shifts anything. What do we need and are willing to receive, because you have choice. And I invite you to write it down, bring it into reality, interact with it, keep it top of mind. So as we have our conversation today, you can see and be surprised at the wonderful way that support comes in, or you're able to shift things forward simply by identifying and being open to receive. Wonderful. With that, I'd love to go around our virtual room here and invite each of our guests to share just 10, 15 seconds what was laid on their heart. Cameron, I'd love to start with you. What was laid on your heart?
I'm sorry, I get emotional when I think about this, but I'm releasing my book next week, and it's so deeply personal. And I've questioned myself many times, should I just keep this and to myself? As the days count down, it's harder and harder for me to, it's harder. I feel like I just want to go, hide. And anyhow, but, I think that I ask for not success or money, but just success for people to fill my what I'm trying to, help people understand. So that's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I want you to hear us and feel us leaning in and supporting you at this tender, special time right before the release of your book, as you come to entrust the world with your message and your information. Just know that we're here supporting you, cheering you on, and really excited about what you're bringing to the world and what you're looking to do and how you're looking to help. So just feel that support and know all of that. And listeners, I just think it's so beautiful when we are open with our heart and our vulnerability and trusting each other with that. We can then come together and lift each other up. So I want to thank you, Cameron, for modeling that, and I hope you feel that support as we come together.
I do. Thank you, Rebecca.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Clayne, I know you released your book earlier this year, so I'm sure you identify with some of those emotions. Yeah. And would love for you to share just what's been laid on your heart as you took a moment to check in.
Yeah, thank you. Well, what's been on my heart is really this feeling of triumphantness. I released my book and then took off to the Amazon for 3 months to go heal cancer. And my life has been just one series of events after another. And I would say one of the biggest experiences that I got while in the Amazon is gratitude unlocks the flow of love. Mm-hmm. And even though difficult things are presented, what I've really found is there's an opportunity on the other side of that. And hard things don't always have to be emotionally hard always. They can be, and it's easier said than done when we're in the thick of it. What I've found is there is a way to summon joy no matter what the situation is. And so that's what I would invite people to as they're going through a difficult challenge is look for the opportunity, look for what is being presented in that hardship. And the hardship itself are like the walls. Instead, look for the crack or the opening of the shining light in the corners and the crevices of those walls, instead of just staring at the walls of whatever it is that's difficult. And again, I'll say, it sounds easier said than done, but if you can look for gratitude, it will unlock unseen doors.
Beautiful. I love that. And the thing about a small crack, light can shine brilliantly through. And we can look at that versus how big or hard or heavy or thick the wall may seem, that light still comes through and there can still be that joy. I love that. Well, we are getting ready to go to our first commercial break. And as we do that, I want to invite you to really think about what is being laid on your heart. Take a moment to really connect in, feel, notice. And when we come back, we will continue our conversation as we dig deeper into these subjects with our amazing experts. Enjoy these 2 minutes.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that time, that opportunity to just connect in with ourselves, to catch up. Sometimes we're moving so fast, we don't stop and listen. Or when times are hard or challenging or there's been a loss, we don't want to feel. We just want to keep doing and moving and moving and moving. And it's so important to slow down, connect and listen and process a bite size at a time. And to lean in. And I like how Clayne was sharing earlier that look for the light in the cracks. Look for what is coming through. Don't focus as much on the hard thing, but also look for the joy, the light, the movement, because it's there too. And sometimes we can make those hard times harder with our focus. So I'm just so honored to have each of you here as we continue our conversation talking about how do we move through hardships and step into our potential and move forward in a powerful way. Very excited to introduce our first guest. You got to hear from him on a heart level in the opening segment. And his name is Clayne Wayman. He's had a successful career as a mortgage broker and professional in that space. And he's worked with one of the top mortgage companies in Utah. He's also a speaker, an international best-selling author, a mentor and founder of Vasper, a platform where he shares the deep spiritual insights and mentorship with others. And he is passionate about helping you discover how much you are truly and deeply loved. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and heart-centered Clayne Wayman to the show. Welcome.
Rebecca, you are too generous. Thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be here.
Oh, you are so welcome. I'm thrilled and honored and happy I should say joyful, if we're tying that in, joyful to have you sharing this time with us today and this space. I appreciate you leaning into our conversation today. And for those who don't know you, I would love for you to take a moment and share a little bit about why this work that you do of helping others really know how deeply and truly they are loved. Why is that work so important to you?
You know, it really speaks to the heart of who we are. We live in a society and culture where there's just so many ideas and so many opinions. And who you truly are is not an idea or an opinion. It's fundamentally you. And so why it really speaks to me is my entire work is not about layering on another level of belief or something like that. It's about discovery. Discovering magnificence. And when somebody's going through a really difficult time, you know, especially when it's really, really tough, one of the most difficult things is finding that magnificence. And sometimes it takes a skilled mentor to be able to go on a discovery with somebody and assist them and show them the magnificence that was there the entire time.
I love that because we just can't see it. We're in the picture frame, you know, inside the frame. And especially
that's right.
When things are hard and we're hurting, I think our perspective is different and can be sometimes more limited in how beautiful it is to know that we don't have to face that alone, that we can get support. And it feels so good to hear you say, discover your magnificence. I can't even say the word. I'd love for you to say it. I'm not saying it right. I love hearing it. Thank you. It's so funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I love that, how much we need to be reminded of that, especially during difficult times. So I love that you feel that calling and you lean in and help people do that. And the other thing, you mentioned a little bit of some of what you've faced recently in going to the Amazon and facing cancer and some of the healing journey that you've gone on. I'd love for you just to share a little bit of that, because it's very different when you're kind of coming back from that on the other side versus facing it initially and making decisions around that. And that can just feel so scary, that wall closing around you. I'd love for you to share a little bit of how you were able to navigate through that in a way that empowered you, because I know you had great peace as you were looking at bringing your book forward and the decisions you had made. But if we go back to when you discovered you had cancer and some of the other things you were facing, can you share a little bit of how you were able to focus on the light and have peace and even tap more into your potential in such a difficult, challenging time?
Yeah, most certainly. I'm honored to share that. So it was a Christmas present just before Christmas, you know, and it was December 14th, 2021 when I got the diagnosis. My doctor called me in and she sat me down and she said, the biopsy results come back that you've been diagnosed with thyroid cancer and she said Dr. So-and-so, she mentioned another doctor, had also confirmed that. And I had been on a rich spiritual journey prior to this, and so I'd contribute that to my spiritual journey that has really brought me to be able to face the challenge. My life has been one triumphant challenge over the next, one to the next. And so when she gave me the news, I was very aware of my response in my thoughts and my body. The big C kills roughly 600,000 Americans each year. Somebody said that would be like an American Airlines plane crashing every 2 minutes for every single day of the year, the equivalent to that. When she gave me the news, the first thing that came to my mind immediately was, what a blessing. What a gift. And the reason why I was able to say that is I knew that usually hard things are usually some of the most greatest gifts are really wrapped in things that appear challenging at first. And the next thought was, well, I'm going to the Amazon because, Western protocol is either they want to do surgery right away. They wanted to remove my thyroid gland, which I wasn't ready to give up. Thyroid gland sits at the base of the throat, and it's like this butterfly gland that controls your hormones and your metabolism. And so they'd have me on a pharmaceutical the rest of my entire life of a thyroid hormone replacement. And I was not excited about that. I asked my doctor, I said, what happens if there's a shortage? Or if I couldn't get the drug, what would happen? And she was like, well, you'd become a very large man. And I'm like, well, that's an obstacle. Even though there's gifts and obstacles, I wanted to use my intelligence. Be like, I know a better path. And I went down to the Amazon to be with the shamans. Plant medicine, functional medicine in the United States used to be the base of medicine all the way up till 1907. And so even though modern Western medicine would call plants an alternative, quite literally the pharmaceuticals that are prescribed are actually, in reality, the actual alternative to nature. And so when the reform happened in 1907, the indigenous people continued on with what they knew for thousands of years, and they assist people in healing. There's just not very much money in healing with plants, just because you can't patent plants.
Yeah.
So I went down there and to the Amazon, and the short of it is it's been a wonderful experience, and I can go anywhere deeper, whatever direction you'd like to take me with that.
Yeah. No, this is really great. I appreciate you sharing, and how, and what I noticed in some of what you shared is that you've had many, many challenges in your life. So this wasn't your first challenge that you faced.
Yeah, it wasn't my first rodeo.
Yeah, not your first rodeo. And so those muscles, that response, that awareness, that choosing response is kind of built into you now and how you look at things. And I loved how you instantly looked at, well, here's an opportunity. So you were able to hear, not react, but hear. And then where's the opportunity in this? What are my choices? Let me look at that. Not I'm a victim, I'm trapped. It's how do I want to look at this? Where is the opportunity? What can I discover and learn? And I think that's a very empowering place. And I think there's some really great tips and insight for us as we're looking at adding things to our toolbox to support us on our journey. And our time is going really, really fast. And I did want to take a moment because we've mentioned your book, but we didn't share what your book is. So I'd love for you to share. I don't want to leave that a cliffhanger. I'd love for you to share the title of your book that you released. It became an international bestseller earlier this year, and just a little bit about it. So if it's a tool that would also help people in their toolbox, they're aware of it. And then I know it's available on Amazon as one of the locations people can find it. So do you mind sharing?
Yeah. Yes, the title is Echoes of Resounding Love, a true story of a polygamous kid's journey to spiritual awakening. So I was raised in a fundamental Mormonism here in Utah, and there were many struggles that I had gone through both personally and spiritually, which I guess is also personally as well. And what I've been able to come full circle with is go through those difficulties, and where the healing really happened for me was to come full circle and find the gratitude in all of it. And so my journey in my book, although it's a memoir, it's really a toll of triumphantness. I share in my book the difficulties that I was faced with, and the first, at least probably 75, 80% of the book, it really stirs people up. And then the final part of the book, it shows you what I have discovered and within myself, and how I did face those challenges that typically leave people either paralyzed, or sometimes even in those situations that I share, some people resort to drugs, alcohol, or suicide. And I share what I did to be able to not resort to those things.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it, and so excited for your success, so excited for your healing, and where you are moving forward in all of these different ways, and honor your work of helping others. And what a gift to open your life up and share the journey and trust us with it, and share what you discovered, what you learned, so we don't have to learn it all on our own. We can be empowered, we can learn, we can be encouraged, and have hope. So thank you for bringing your book forward, for your willingness to take that stand for others and share your work in the world. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor.
Absolutely. Well, you're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I'd love for you to stay present. Take a couple moments and really think about some of what Clayne has shared, and see what's speaking to your heart, what's speaking to your spirit. At the end of the show, we'll remind you of his book title, where to get it. We'll share his contact information. So if you want to connect and go deeper, you'll be able to do that, as well as if this is a book that would serve and support you, you can look at adding that to your holiday wish list or getting a copy yourself. So we'll let you know about that as well. So stay tuned, enjoy these 2 minutes, and we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just a moment.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message. It's time to serve, learn, change the world. Tune in each week for The Power of Young People to Change the World, hosted by NYLC CEO Amy Mewers. The program is a forum for both young people and the adults who love and support them. We make connections with others through stories of change, partnership, and new perspectives of issues facing the world today. Be sure to join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time, or anytime on demand on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to empowering women, transforming lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that time and that opportunity to connect in and check in and take that breath. We're talking about some things that are somewhat tender, and even this next segment, touching on things that can be extra sensitive and even perhaps controversial as people choose and respond as we're navigating forward. And sometimes when we're going through hardship, it can almost be like we're in the eye of a storm, that things can happen around us. We end up in situations we never expected to be facing. And how do we respond? How do we navigate through? How do we find our center again? And I think that's some of our next guest's experience. And so I'm very excited. I really appreciate his vulnerability, his willingness to lean in and talk and share about some really difficult, it can almost be unimaginable things that he has faced, struggled through, and come back from. And his book is going to be coming out next week. He mentioned that. And I just wanted to share a little bit about him to set the stage and to see what speaks to us in what he's sharing and what he's called to bring to the world. So his name is Cameron Lundgren. He has 20 years of experience in software sales as one of their top producers for that company and organization. He started his own company with one dump truck and scaled it to 20 very, very quickly. So this beautiful entrepreneurial, scaling, growing gifts and talents that he brings to the world. And in the midst of that, as he was rising to that place, his girlfriend committed suicide. World changed, stopped in his tracks. And I'll let him share, or we'll share a little bit more in that and what happened from that. But in short, he ended up losing everything. That was some of the ripple out of what happened in those circumstances. Lost family, lost job, lost how he was seen in the community, in the world, and even to a point where he was contemplating suicide himself. And he found a way to come back from that, to rise again like a phoenix from the ashes, and now is coming forward to share his story, to share what was great about it, what was hard about it, what he discovered, and ultimately to help people who are in circumstances who are facing and contemplating suicide, that's not the answer, that you can make a different choice and be aware of some of what comes from that. So he has this heartbeat and is passionate about helping bring awareness and help people make a different choice, that no matter what's happened, you too can rise up. There is a way forward. So with that and his mission, I would love to introduce the powerful, heart-centered, and authentic Cameron Lundgren to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca.
You're very welcome. I'm honored to have you
I'll be honored.
Here.
It's hard, even to hear somebody talk about what I went through. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel it every day,
Yeah.
Suicide is unacceptable on any level for anyone. Mm-hmm. And that's my biggest message in my book, is just, if you're struggling, there are people that love you. There are people that care about you. And unfortunately, I saw this in the woman that decided to attempt or kill herself in front of me. And the hardest questions that you have is, what could I have done differently? Mm-hmm. Or what if I could, if I could take back, or if I could change the past, what I did. And it's been 3 years now. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this during the show.
No, it's okay, Cameron. And I'm just going to give you a moment. And sometimes these things just hit us, and we're almost surprised by it, or caught off guard, or it kind of touches. And so, I just want to take a moment for us to just lean in and hold this space. And you don't have to be or do anything. We're here for you.
It's fine. I'll pull myself together here shortly. But
it's all good.
My book is centered about a couple things, and one is that I think we all know somebody that's committed suicide or have taken their life in one way or another. And I think my book is maybe some warning signs, or or my experience mostly of what I saw. And the other thing is that going back to your message, we can all work hard to get back to where we are, and we all take hits along the way in this life. We all get kicked down, and we all have tragedies. In fact, my boy's mother passed. My boys are 14 and 18 years old, and their mother passed just 2 weeks ago. And it's really, we all have tragedies, and we all have things that just kick us down. And my book is not entirely about a triumph, but the last chapter is, that no matter what happens in our lives, no matter where we find ourselves, we can always fight back. And we can always fight back for, happiness and love and kindness and, just to be a good place or a good person on this earth. So anyhow, go ahead. I think I'm past the
all good. That sensitive moment. Yeah, no worries. And thank you for being with us through that, and being willing to share. And I think that's an important key, that when we have those moments, when we have those things that just touch our heart, that it's okay to feel it for a moment and to step through it. We don't have to stop. We don't have to shrink back. We don't have to be ashamed. We have things that touch our heart. We have things that we struggle with, and it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to have people lean in. And I think it's important that we remember that, because I think we can get very isolated sometimes and lose hope. And just to touch on your book, can you share the title and the subtitle?
Yeah, so the title is Beautiful, and I wasn't totally prepared for this, but the subtitle is a memoir of romance and self-destruction, how one bullet took 2 lives.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And this book is coming out, so we're going to talk a little bit about it, but just for those of you who are already leaning in and curious and you want to learn more, it's coming out on November 16th. It's going to be for a special rate of $1.99 for the first 24, maybe 48 hours. So if some of what Cameron is sharing is touching your heart or kind of pulling you in, or you're curious, I want you to mark that date on your calendar. That's an opportunity where you can lean in, you can learn more, you can get a copy, and you can help share it out. He's really, I know it was really important to Cameron. I'm going to share a little bit of what you shared with me, that there's a timeliness in bringing this out, and that he felt an urgency to bring it out, especially before the holidays, that sometimes there are extra sensitive times. And if we can take a stand and bring awareness, and his story that does have some intrigue and controversy associated with it, if that can help bring awareness and help people question or think twice, he wanted to make that stand and bring it forward. So it's not necessarily what we'd call a holiday book, but the message of support is very timely, that suicide isn't the answer or the solution, that there is a different way and there is hope. So his book, Beautiful, will be released on November 16th for that special rate of $1.99. You'll be able to see it on Amazon, and we'll be posting and sharing it out as well. So you definitely can follow us on social media or look for it on Amazon if it's something that pulls to you. And with that, Cameron, I didn't know if you wanted to give just a sentence or two highlight of what I know you've been sharing a little bit in social media, but of something people could learn from the book or discover, or just kind of what's on your heart to share about it.
I wish I could say it was an uplifting book. It is in the fact that I found love, and I felt like I found love and the woman I wanted to be with. I missed the signs, and I missed the mental health triggers that she was having. And, you know, I think the biggest thing about the book is suicide is just unacceptable. And again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself now, but just choose to try. Just choose to, and I've been using the hashtag C2L on all my social media posts. Choose to live, you know, choose to try. And I know that, you know, life gets you down. Life is hard and life isn't easy, you know, and I've been there, and I wasn't there until after all this happened. I was a very happy, you know, upbeat person. But, you know, the biggest message I'd like to get out with this book is that, you know, we all deal with, you know, all sorts of problems. And, you know, especially during, as you mentioned, the winter months, you know, we all kind of come inside and we all, essentially, you know, the sun is what gives us happiness. And so, you know, as winter comes around, we all kind of find sadness, and we all have sadness in the world. And, you know, whatever it is, somebody loves you, no matter, I think, you know, about people that have nothing, people that are living underneath a bridge, and they probably think, I have nobody that loves me. Maybe their family has disowned them. And, you know, I'm sure that person has somebody that loves them, whether it's the person that, you know, they walk into the gas station and buy, you know, a $2 coffee from, you know, to keep themselves warm, and they see their smile every day. But regardless, you know, there's a reason to live. There is no reason to die, period.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that so much. And are you okay if I just share a quick summary of a little bit of your story that you have shared with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please do.
I was just thinking, you know, I keep hinting that there's some controversy and some challenges, and I so honor your core message and why you're sharing this. And I appreciate that you are willing to be vulnerable and share your story when it's something that a lot of people would shrink from, but to do it to make a difference and to honor her and to have the story help others. But just to give a quick summary, that he mentioned that his girlfriend, the woman he thought he would be with, committed suicide and in front of him. And he was arrested for her murder or killing her for the cause, and later found not guilty. Suspicion. I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction. And you were jailed for a while. Is that correct?
Yes,
I'm going to make sure I'm sharing this correctly. And then released and found that it was ruled as a suicide and not at fault. And he tried to save and call 911 and to face all of that. And then to release and try to rebuild your life. You lost your family, your job, your career. How people saw you was permanently shifted in so many ways. And at one point, as you had lost it all, you even ended up to a point where you were contemplating suicide and had people reach out, and you were able to come back from that and rebuild. And now step forward and share both the destruction and the devastation that can happen to multiple lives from that choice, to also that awareness around mental health kinds of things, awareness of different choices that can be made, and that when you end up in something that can seem unbelievable that you're in, feeling people seeing you in a certain way that is never how you saw yourself, or being misunderstood in such a powerful way, being willing to stand again and climb forward and share in a way to hopefully make a difference in this area. So just a little bit of a highlight of some of what is his story and in his book. And I didn't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
No, I mean, I think you summarized it. One thing I would like to add was one thing that was very obvious was when I watched the hatred, the news released, man calls in suicide and is now suspect of murder. And I fielded hatred, and, I had people messaging me that they were going to kill me. If I wasn't locked up, they were going to come find me and kill me. And, one message I would like to make sure that is passed along is, don't believe everything that you see on the media. Have the self-awareness to step back and believe that you don't understand the situation. There was gossip. There was all sorts of terrible things, posted about me. And I think, I would like at least part of this book to display that, and I'm not trying to condone, murderers or killers or whatever and give them a break, right? But, the media and social media onslaught of me was devastating. And in fact, you mentioned that, I nearly took my own life, and, it was only my close friends that kept me alive during that time, because I watched as thousands of people ran my name through the mud, and thousands of people talked as I was a terrible monster. And it was, in fact, the few people that reached out to me and said, hey, I've known you my entire life, and you're not the man I saw that was portrayed on the media. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, just be careful what you see. And it's like the old circle. I think the old classroom circle, they, put somebody in a chair and they tell a secret to the next person next to them. And by the time it gets to the, through the entire circle, that story has entirely changed.
Yeah.
And so just be careful what you see and what you hear and what you also talk about.
And believe. Yep. Yep. Thank you so much, Cameron. I so appreciate you sharing. We are getting really close on time, so I do want to make sure I circle back into what I promised. So let me thank you for joining us today and for sharing. And I'd love for you to share again the title of your book, when it will be released, the date, and any contact information that you want to share around it.
Okay, again, the title is Beautiful. The subtitle is a memoir of romance and self-destruction, one bullet, destroyed two lives. Mm-hmm. And contact information is info@beautifulbook.us. Again, that's info@beautifulbook.us. And one thing I'd like to add is I'm going to pledge 100% of the profits on the first 24 hours to a couple different causes. One of those is Shayna left behind a little girl that she gave up for adoption early on in life. And so I'd like to pledge 25% of the profits to her. And then the other 75% to a suicide awareness cause of my choice. So that's all.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. And then, Clayne, I'd love for you to share your book title again, where people can find it, and the best way for them to connect in with you as well. I want to make sure I deliver on what I promised at the beginning.
All right. Yes, thank you. All right, so the title of my book is Echoes of Resounding Love. The subtitle is A True Story of a Polygamous Kid's Journey to Spiritual Awakening. Mm-hmm. The book can be found on pretty much any online bookstore. Amazon.com is probably my favorite, but if you like Barnes & Noble's, Target, Walmart, Books A Million, if you can think it, it's most likely on an online bookstore platform. So whatever is preferred for you. So thank you again, Rebecca, for having me on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And I love that you've made your book so easy for people to find and they can choose the best way. So that's beautiful. I love that.
There's one thing I guess I didn't share, how people can get back in touch with me.
Exactly.
They can connect with me. They can connect with me through my website. My website is vasperlife.com, VASPERLIFE, so life, vasperlife.com. And they can check out some of my content, and there's my contact info if somebody would like to reach out.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and really taking that stand for people to go deep and to know that they are loved and that they can get support. Discovering the beautiful and powerful wonder of who they are, helping them discover that. I just appreciate that, especially during difficult times. So, Clayne, thank you again for joining us. Cameron, I so appreciate you leaning in, being willing to share your story, and really with that intent of bringing awareness around suicide, so suicide awareness, and that people do love you, that you can move forward and make different choices. And so I just love that you're taking a stand for that, really looking to make a difference in those areas and willing to share your story and your vulnerability in that with all of us. So I appreciate that. Listeners, I want to thank you for tuning in today, for exploring and going into these difficult and challenging things. How do we navigate those? How do we find that light in the cracks? How do we reach out when we need help? What are some of the things that we can build in our toolbox to support us on our journey? If any of these resources shared today, these books shared today, can support you, I encourage you to lean in. If you resonate with our guests, reach out. They share their contact information on purpose, really extending that hand and hear those messages that serve. And then on our side, we want you to remember that you are beautifully, powerfully, and wonderfully made. You are absolutely needed in this world and for such time as this. And I want to invite you to take that in, to lean into all of who you are. Take a couple moments at the end of today's show reminding yourself that you're beautifully and wonderfully made. And I believe you were made for such a time as this. The biggest gift you can give yourself and you can give the world is more of you. So find a way to bloom where you're planted, to dig your roots in deeply, and to continue to take those steps to share a little bit more of who you are in the world. Even if it's one smile, one word of encouragement at a time, makes a difference. And it creates that light through the crack. It creates a ripple, and you can be part of making the world a better place. One heart, one love, one share, one drop of light at a time. So lean in, share the gift of you, have a great week, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.